Welcome back. You've just boarded Fly Ride K Johnson and I, Chibihe Johnson. I'm going to be your captain for today's ride, and I've got one question for you. Are you ready to ride with me? If you're ready, then come along.
Give us. We need to take it. Give us. Give us. Ciao.
On today's ride, we're going to be talking about practical steps on how to be a resilient person. The first step is build your mindset around it. See, most times when they say when they say it starts from the mind, people will be like, motivational talk, motivational talk. I think I used to be one of those persons, was I? I don't know, I can't remember. But I found out that a lot of things start from the mind. If you decide in your mind and in your mind of minds and in the minds of your minds that you're not going to give up about something, you find out that you will never ever give up about it. But when you are lackadaisical about it, when you are indifferent, or when you've even taken the path of saying that you are going to give up on it, then my dear, you're going to give up. I remember something that happened sometime. I went for a conference and we were supposed to make a presentation and everybody was tired, but our leader was like, go, 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 we can do this. In my mind, I was like, I cannot do this thing. I'm tired, I'm sleepy. I even said, not just me, everybody is tired. Nobody's going to agree to stay back here. This guy insisted and pressed on, and at the end of the day, we stayed there up to like 2-3 hours extra, and I found out that everybody was strong. So most of the times that you tell yourself that you are tired, that you're giving up, is actually your mind. When you train your mind to get to that point where giving up is not an option, you'll find out that you're not going to give up. One of my favorite movies of all time is Three Idiots. It's an Indian movie, and Ranchadas Shamadas Chanchad. One thing he would always say, one line that sticks with me from that movie is that the heart is an idiot. So learn to trick it. Even when there's trouble, there is fear, there's everything. Tell your mind that all is well, all is well. So that line will always resonate with me. I watched that movie as a teenager until now. It helps me. So I remember one act, I think it was Raju Rastogi, asking Ranchodas Shamadas Chancha, after telling yourself all is well, is it going to make the problem to go away? And Rancho was like, no, it doesn't make the problem go away. It gives you the courage to face it head on. You have to learn how to train your mind to be resilient. It's something you have to keep training yourself. When it comes to training the mind, it is not a feeling. It is something you actually do. Whether you feel like it or not, you insist. The mind is malleable. You can train it, you can twist it to become what you want it to be. So even when you feel like, oh, this thing is not even making sense, whether it makes sense or not, insist as a person that this is what you're going to do and they are not going to give up no matter what. Okay, so that's the first step. The second step is set goals. A junior lawyer posted something. I was like, the senior lawyer was like, give this profession 10 years and you start benefiting from it, something like that. The guy was just trying to be nasty, he was like, not be only 10 years. And the point is that most times when we hear conversations like that, in as much as they are really true, in as much as they really apply, but we also have to know that it is not a full truth. The fact that you give a profession 10 years of your life does not mean that it's automatically going to pay you. You have to set goals. You have to make those goals realistic. So there's this acronym they use in setting goals: SMART. Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. If you're just there every day, you go to court, you read newspaper, you read law reports, and you are not setting actual goals for yourself, by this time I want to achieve this, you'll find out that you might just be that person that is digging 1 feet in 6 places. But when you set goals, it has a way of making you streamline. Now that thing where I talked about the mind, it now even makes it come alive, because you've given your mind an object to behold, which will even be our next point. You've given your mind an object to behold. For your mind, this is what I'm supposed to achieve. So it even makes it easier. But when it's vague, when you're just there saying, oh, they said I should put in 10 years, no, it won't work that way. You can put in 20 years and nothing will happen. When you set goals and set realistic goals, you find out that it's going to be easier for you to be a resilient person. So whenever an adversity comes, whenever a challenge comes, it's easier for you to snap out of it, to overcome it, to bounce back, because you tell yourself, this thing I wanted to achieve, I've not achieved it, so I have to keep pushing on. So that is it. Another thing that could help you become a resilient person is visualization. The Bible said Jesus, who for the crown that was set before him, despised the shame, endured the cross. At the Garden of Gethsemane, he was tired. Jesus was tired, like he prayed and prayed and prayed. I was like, God, if it be your will, let this cup pass over me. Nevertheless, not my will, but let your will be done. Like that was how broken Jesus was. But because of the crown that was set, he resisted. I remember somebody giving an exposition of the cross, and he said that the hardest part of Jesus' death for him was that the Father turned his back on him. That was why on the cross he shouted, Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani, like, my God, why have you forsaken me? That's for us to know that Jesus felt what we feel. Like Jesus felt like giving up at some point, but for the crown that was set ahead of him, he endured. There are times that I've been in situations. I remember when I was in law school, there was a point I was like, I'm just tired. I want to go. I want to go. But in my mind, I was like, babe, remember the wig and gown. Like, remember the wig and gown. That moment they will tell you, you might now put on your wigs. And all these barrister that you are not at the moment that people have been calling you that you've not even achieved will now become a reality. So just picturing that prize, having my eyes on the prize, had a way of making me resilient, even in the worst times, even in the worst moments, even when I felt sick, even when I felt down, even when I felt exhausted. It had a way of making me more resilient. Another tip I want to share is learn from your adversity. If something happens to you before, learn from it and make sure that it doesn't happen to you again. This could play out in two ways. In the first way, by the time you know that this thing has happened to me before and I was able to endure it, that means I can endure this other adversity that is coming. Just like David said, I have killed the bear, I have killed the lion. Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that I cannot kill? When the bear and the lion came, it was an adversity for David, right? But by the time he killed it, he learned that, oh, if a bear and a lion comes, I can kill it. So he used that lesson he learned to also attack the uncircumcised Philistine, which is Goliath, right? Then on the second part, learning from your adversity could mean that when you know that this is the part things went down before, you would know best not to do it again. Instead of you hurting yourself twice and even stretching yourself unnecessarily to be resilient, you'll find out that you'd be able to overcome adversity. You'll be able to be resilient because you've learned how to avoid what is going to attack you or to avoid certain challenges. Learn from your adversity. Don't be that person that the same thing keeps happening to you over and over and don't make one mistake twice. Try not to make it twice. And peradventure, somehow you get to make it twice. Try not to make it 3 times. Peradventure, you make it 3 times. Try not to make it the 4th time. But I believe with these few points of mine that you are going to become a resilient person. Don't forget, I'm your Captain Kechibi Johnson. Thank you for riding with me. And until next time, don't forget to let your light so shine. Bye.